Just listening to this story and hearing it delivered as clearly as you've been delivering it chills me to the bone that we have a system that, as you suggested, is in deep need of repair because it is broken. What would you like to see if we could change things or indeed make an impact? What would you like to see done first?
Look, definitely reform in the Office of Public Prosecution to make them accountable and representative of who they're supposed to defend, because they're an important pillar in prosecutional services to see that. I'll use the instance really with, we talk about violence against women, so it's a big, shall we say, pyramid. This area here that we deal with, the apex of it, that's about violent offenders, because there will always be bad men that will do these bad things. Yeah. You need to control that aspect, because what's the relevancy of the rest, and there's a lot of good work there, if women's still getting killed over and over and over again. So that certainly the attitude of making things go away, right? And when you've got a regime that's what they get their oxygen from, that has to be looked at. Certainly there has to be an inquiry around how this series of events. So there's a whole lot of micro, without getting to legal issues, but there's a whole lot of micronisms in here about issues of corrections orders, bail, parole, these types of things. All these were supposed to be wrapped up with Jill Maher, but obviously they never were.
And they've reared their ugly head yet again. The psychiatric centre, now he's in custodial care, correct?
That's right. Look, I know it very well because years ago I was a project director for Justice Health. So I know the triage system of him going in and out.
Right.
Something that the OPP is aware of, which they treat carefully when they talk to me about it.
Right. So what is the situation right now? He will be in their care?
Yes, from the next hearing, which is about the 14th of September, I think.
Okay, and then?
He's in a psychiatric section in Port Phillip Prison now.
In Port Phillip Prison. And he's likely to remain there, we don't know, because there's every opportunity that he could say, look, I need to be assessed.
Definitely. If Odin stops talking to him all of a sudden and he wants to be released, he can be released.
So Odin comes and goes. Is he on medication?
Again, I don't know. I believe looking at the previous transcripts there was a mention of medication.
Yep.
But again, I think when he was discharged to no fixed address, there was also no medication involved in it.
When you sat in court and listened to the psychiatrist, what did you make of those two testimonies?
So first of all, the prosecution's psychiatrist wasn't even called or questioned.
Was not called?
No. Second, it was rushed through in 45 minutes. The defence one was called through. What did I think? Look, I wouldn't use him for a drink driving charge, if you ask me. So that would be my opinion. Obviously, I might be biased in that, but I was certainly... The only thing that judge did at one point in time say, I think a reference Courtney's family is saying they think that, and this I found this extraordinary. The judge said, do the family think that he's putting it on? What do you think? Right? Now, the context of that question, that's what you call a loaded question or a leading question. So he's hardly going to turn around and go, oh, yeah, it's possible. I don't think so. So basically he said, oh, no, he's had these conditions for several years, etc., and just really got around it. But what response would you expect? This is a Supreme Court judge asking this. As a defence lawyer, if I asked that, I would have been struck down for putting a leading question. He's got a right to question as a judge.
Correct.
But is there a better way to phrase that? And it was over. Like, in the other thing too, if you're an expert witness, the judge, the prosecution went through what are your qualifications because who is this person anyway?
That's right.
And halfway through the judge stopped that and just said, I've dispensed with that, I've read the report. Well, we haven't read the report. I've asked for the report and been denied. And I understand...
Why would they deny you that report?
I also, when I went to get the transcripts from the county court of the previous one, they referred me to the judge that let him out early and he denied it. He used an excuse saying that proceedings are still underway. I had to write back saying, there's no jury involved, there's no one prejudice.
That's exactly right. It's in the hands of the judge.
Well, that's the moral compass of that judge.
Yes,
But in the end, I did have to write to the head judge of the county court and put out the reasons why. And there's a thing called the Open Courts Act, which he has to give it to me. So sensible heads prevail, and it was released to me.
So you now read it?
I've read it.
And how much more sickening is it now that you've read it?
It's sort of Courtney's family's died 3 times. There's the killing,
Yes.
and you go through the grieving process. The second is when you find out that she shouldn't have died because of
You only
judicial
released the
blunder.
first time round, huh?
The third time is that the killer is not guilty. Now, believe it or not, as a parent, it's not... The community wants someone like this locked up. And
Sure.
This is one of the most brutal murders of a young woman, let's be clear.
Yeah, he was killing her
In
50 minutes.
50 minutes in Victoria's history. Now, what I wanted to say here is with such a horrific murder and it to be like washed away and not guilty, it's not necessarily that he's locked away. The fact now is that, does she die for completely nothing? What happens if he gets out in 2 years and does it again? Why did Courtney die?
What's to keep him behind bars?
Nothing.
Look, it's an extraordinary story that is as painful as I've heard, and I've been, I suppose, reading news stories for the better part of 40 years. So the more you tell me, the more it sickens me, and the more it tells me that we don't stop. You've started something very important. See it through, because you may not have been able to save your daughter. You haven't saved your daughter, but you could save someone else's daughter.
That's what Courtney would want. Look, I don't know how to tell my 2 sons of these events that we've discussed today. My eldest at 22 is suffering very badly.
She was the eldest of the family?
She was, yes. It's very difficult to tell him he's had incredible sufferings over this. But that's exactly right. Courtney, her soul and spirit, I don't know whether it can rest if it's known that even this one individual could do it again. And if the system allows it to happen, as it is happening, as we speak and talk, over and over again.
John Herron, I was going to say thank you for giving us a chance to hear it from you, but I don't want to say thank you. It's, to me, you're in pain, I can see it, and it seems to me that each day passes, each week passes, you will remain in pain. I can only hope that something is done that's meaningful and it gives you an opportunity to find some solace, because peace is not what you want at the moment. You want justice. Yeah?
Whatever that means in the state of Victoria.